Hello, a very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Indeed, this is Kenya's most comprehensive political analysis show. Definitely the candid talk is your point of every information. My name is Evan Sokinya. I'm so glad that you're here with us. As usual, I'm joined by Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
I'm very okay. Yes.
Talk to me, Prof. Devolution conference. Raila's presence somehow not expected by certain quarters of the country. I wonder whether his presence and whatever he said there has got any significance, and whether we can think now differently about the political landscape of the country.
We don't want people to talk. We want people to act.
Okay.
This country needs to move forward. Talking is not. In fact, I tweeted and said, the president is in Eldoret addressing these wasteful governors, these spendthrifts, and telling them to be less wasteful. Don't waste resources. Why did he go there? That is a gathering of wastage, opulence. Eldoret is painted with Kenya shillings. Sometimes if you wake up in the morning and walk in Eldoret, you could pick something during the conference, the duration of the conference. You could pick some notes just scattered down. Everybody's too much money flowing in Eldoret. Why would the poor counties go and parade opulence in Eldoret, waste so much money? So I was asking the president, the better way of passing that message of wastage is tell them that is a gathering that serves no purpose. Everything has come to a standstill in all counties. Everybody has taken interest in millions of shillings from every county. Stop this wastage. You don't go there. I say the same of Raila. You are saying very good things, but you are speaking to these wasteful people. Ask Raila, do you know the money that these counties have spent for 3 days in Eldoret? Can pay bursaries for thousands of university students. Yeah.
So do you think that if at all it was up to you, then you would advise?
Why would I go there?
Against going there?
Why would I go there? The law may not give me the power as president, maybe, to stop them, maybe. In that case, I will not attend. I will just tell him it's a waste. I'm not coming to it.
You're saying this devolution conference?
It's a waste of time.
Waste of time?
Yeah.
Waste of resources?
Of course.
Significantly?
Just like going to Mombasa for an endless seminars and workshops and Naivasha and flying all over the world. If you go to a small airport like Kisumu or Mombasa, what you will see, you can cry. But you come from Nyanza.
Yes,
no, and I'm inviting other people from Kisumu. You go to Kisumu on a day like Thursday or Friday, and there's a restaurant at the Kisumu airport. There is sitting space outside. Sit outside if the weather is good. Around 4, between 4 and 6. Just see heavy government vehicles coming to the airport, dropping people to fly, to take flights, and picking those who are. They are all government vehicles. A whole plane is full of, all the passengers are people whose tickets have been paid by the government.
Talk to me, Prof.
Come on, we can't go like that as a country.
10 years down the line,
Yes.
I think this conference was necessary because we need to...
Conference do what?
We need to review, we need to look at some of the strides that we made as a country.
Nobody works like that. Serious people don't work like that. What is it you are taking there?
Okay, now let's get into...
If people know what's happening in Canada and they are here, you mean people in Viga cannot know what's happening in Kwale?
Well, at least they need to know where they've gone wrong, what
is it?
So far, what
no,
needs to
what
be
is
improved.
it? What is it they need to know?
These are a number of things being...
Governors can organize their own meeting with technical staff.
Okay.
A meeting somewhere in whatever it is, and they exchange notes, brainstorm on a few things for one day, and they go back home to their counties. But these governors are wasteful. Every governor, I don't know whether there's 1 or 2, maybe or 3, all of them stay in Nairobi here.
Well, the president was...
Have you seen their flags flying in Nairobi here?
Of course, I've seen them. They do stay here. Well and good. Not a crime, so to say.
It's a crime. It's a crime against the people of Kenya.
Okay, it's okay anyway, Prof. But then every Kenyan, I do believe, even the governors included therein, have a right to stay in whichever part of the country they deem fit.
Using our money, our resources.
Those are our leaders. Now let's get into the conversation here. The president was there, and then something. I think the president found himself in some sort of a situation. Of course, when I listened to his speech and how he talked, it was like embracing the entire devolution and saying very well that he is so happy that it was part of the history of what brought the country here. I wonder whether you also buy the same statement from the president, owing to the fact that he opposed the inclusion of the devolved government, of course, in the referendum that was there back then, he together with the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. Do you think that he's got any ground to tell us right now that he celebrates and embraces devolution?
The people of Kenya gave themselves this constitution. This constitution gave the people of Kenya devolution. The people of Kenya. William Samoei Ruto is a Kenyan. We all gave ourselves this constitution. So he played his rightful role. All of us, including him, including those who opposed, they are part of the process that gave us this constitution. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's leave it at that point. I actually wanted us to focus on Raila's presence, therein, Ruto's presence, whatever it is that they said, leave that aside. Now, let us look at it. Do you think that perhaps we've reached a point where our leaders can now come and engage and talk without any kind of censorship or without any kind of problem, as we witnessed there? Raila was there, Ruto was there, and all of them, and we saw the face of Kenya in that.
What is the problem? They will go there and talk. They are supposed to talk. Raila has been attending these conferences almost every time it is there. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well and good. Now talk to me about this. Immediately the president left was in Gishu. He was, I think that was in Kiambu. And he was there addressing residents and back to his normal political statements. Of course, talking about Nusu Mkate, talking about, yes, we'll have the dialogue, but then we are not going to negotiate anything to do with power sharing or any other sort of thing. These people, I'm going to keep them at bay, so to say. That is the word that came from the president. I wonder, what is the
He's preparing his people.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to gauge, what is it that the president is trying to portray? Because when he was there, he was talking like a president, the one we saw. Then once he was on the streets, he now definitely turns back into the politician we know of. What do you gauge from his communication there? Is it telling the people what they want to hear? Or
yeah,
what is it?
The president is just a politician. Politicians say things people want to hear. At the same time, I don't know how long I'll repeat this thing. The president and Raila are preparing their troops for the eventual power sharing. They're just preparing them.
Okay.
It's soft landing for them. So that when it happens, the people will not blame Ruto because he has been against it. So now he has been boxed into a corner. He has had to give in. But he is part of it all along. From my thinking. Yeah.
So you think in as much as he's saying that we are not going to negotiate on anything?
Nothing else will be negotiated at Bomas. Bomas is about power sharing. Pure and simple. Whatever form it takes. This is just PR and here, but finally, the product will just be power sharing. I know this is really irritating some people, but it's the truth.
So in as much as he's telling the people...
He's lying to people. Not lying, but he's preparing them. If the president, and I want people to listen to me carefully. If the president said, we have had so much chaos in this country, this country has almost shut down. Loss of life and bloodshed and loss of property. Let's sit down with Raila and let's agree on the way forward. That's, I'm open to any discussion. Even if it meant some form of power sharing. How will that be received by the people? First of all, the people are against power sharing. People of this country are against Nusu Mkate. They are against the handshake because it has been demonized. The people of Kenya have not understood how the Kibaki-Raila power sharing saved this country from destruction. People have not understood the handshake between Raila and Uhuru, how it saved this country. Those things have been demonized and the people are against power sharing. And even the people next to Ruto. They will hear nothing of power sharing because it would mean Gachagua's power will go down and he cannot listen to that. He cannot hear anything about that. So do you expect Ruto to announce that he's going to talk to Raila about power? No, he will demonize that power sharing, say nothing. But he knows it will come. So you just take the people slowly. And at some point, You are there with Raila shaking hands, and there's some kind of working arrangements, whatever form it will take. It can take any form. You can even create this official opposition, but craft it in such a manner that it is obviously beyond a normal opposition.
Okay.
It weakens the Gachaguas of this country. Or you can even create the so-called cabinet secretary and entrench it in the constitution. And before you know what is happening, it's Raila who is sitting in that office. It will take some form.
So you're saying that no matter the route that he wants to follow,
Yes.
still will lead there. Now, finally, I was just going through the president's communication, and of course, following his trail of the visit to Kiambu, of course, where he addressed people there. And in one of the church services, he actually talked about graft and said that very well that he was handed over power, and he has got all the instruments of power to make sure that he fights graft. And he talked about the symbolic sword that he was given by the people on that particular day when he was sworn in as the president of this country. The president, however, found himself in a very queer situation because he was talking about graft, and he's saying that this country will leave no position to the corrupt. And I saw that posted on Twitter. A number of leaders quickly went and criticized his sentiments, telling him that he's not actually living the talk. How do you think it's easier for the president to fight graft in this country?
Let's be fair to the president. Graft in this country is too big to be fought by the president. Using institutional means. The whole arrangement is so clumsy that you can't fight graft. Because the people engaged in graft are either the leaders or have patronage of the same. In other words, the level of stealing that goes on in government, you cannot steal unless you are protected by government. Top. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So in that kind of arrangement, I don't blame the president. He cannot fight graft. He can only do some small little tokenism. But the really graft, that whole arrangement that we call graft is a system, a monumental system of graft. And all the leaders are part of it. Because we have a very bad situation in this country, where one side of the coin is leader, the other side is business. So politics and money in this country are one and the same. The people who manage our economy, run our economy, are the people who run the politics of the country. How do you fight graft? How? The people who run business, the people who do big business, they do big business with government. And they are the same government. The Nego Commission of 1970 or thereabouts said we want to encourage, in fact, let Kenyans participate, civil servants participate in business. In fact, we want to encourage them. The Africanization of commerce. Wacha watu wafanya biashara. But now, we find ourselves in a situation where the man in charge, the people in charge of government are the people in charge of business with government. How can you sort it out?
Martha Karua went directly to the president.
Yes.
And actually alleged a number of things therein. I do not, because we cannot justify any of our statements.
Yes.
But then, does the president find himself on the wrong side of public perception with regards to graft? That's why it's becoming difficult for him to talk about the graft itself, leave alone fighting it.
No, I think it's difficult. The perception is there that all these leaders are thieves, all of them. That's the public perception. I have always held the view that if you are a billionaire in this country, come forward and tell me that I never stole from the government. All these people made money from government by stealing from the public. There's just a handful of billionaires who have made their own money. They are so few. The rest have just stolen from the public. So how do they fight graft themselves? Because they are the government. They have stolen from the government. They are the corrupt. How do you fight it? That explains why when people are caught with graft about printing of ballot papers and things like that, there are UK counterparts who are part of the so-called chicken scandal. My friend, they were processed, they were charged, they were jailed, they have even finished their jail term. Here we have not even taken the case anywhere. It is not possible. It can be possible If, for example, William Samoei Ruto got his second term and said, I want to leave a legacy. Second term, not now. Wacha nifyeke hii watu. Wacha nifyeke hii watu. It's an unlikely possibility, but it's a possibility. Otherwise, it will require an outsider. An outsider. The people of this country, and I see it happening. One day the people of this country will get tired and get an outsider who is not part of these gentlemen and ladies and tell him, we are sending you to State House.
Okay.
And the people will be shaking like this. They will all be shaking, trembling. Because he will end it within a month. There will be no graft in this country.
And you're sure a number of our leaders will be swept by that flood?
In fact, they'll go to jail. And I was telling somebody, I was talking to some ex-governor somewhere, and I told them, my friend, I am convinced beyond peradventure that sooner than you may think, a lot of these governors will go to jail.
Okay.
I'm telling you, first-term governors, second-term, current governors, many people who have stolen public funds, a time is coming, they will all go to jail. I can also tell you with a lot of certainty that those who enjoy stolen property and they have all these assets they have bought, those things will go back to the public one time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment, but please do not fail to subscribe and tune into some of our programs that will be coming up next. My name is Evans Okinyi. Thank you so much for being with us.